A few weeks ago, the U.S. became aware of the story of Ahmaud Arbery's death, which happened back in February. Arbery, a 25-year-old black man, was killed in an altercation with Gregory and Travis McMichael, father and son, respectively. And it's about time that we as a society see men doing what men are supposed to do. Take action. Show force when threatened and protecting their community without having to wait for the inept police. It's about time men in the West follow in the footsteps of these two men and begin to protect what is rightfully theirs. If you don't know anything about the case, here's a refresher. Gregory McMichael, 64, and Travis McMichael, 34, chased down in their car Ahmaud Arbery, confronted him with their firearms, and attempted a citizen's arrest. The two men told police they pursued Arbery with another person recording them after spotting him running in their neighborhood. The father and son said they thought he matched the appearance of a burglary suspect who they said had been recorded on the surveillance camera some time before. The viral video shows the father and son confront Arbery, but they didn't raise their weapons. The young black man then charged a football field's length toward one of the men and attempted to steal the shotgun. The weapon discharged, killing Arbery. The video showed that in the midst of the fight for the gun, there was no way to determine who fired the shot. And of course, as sure as the clock will strike midnight, the legacy media began to run with the race narrative of white man bad, black man good. The media and Arbery's family are adamant that he was jogging through the neighborhood. They claimed he was a well-loved and decent man, but in reality, he was a criminal, charged with theft in the past, and at one point possessed a firearm in a school. Also, Arbery was not jogging. He was seen in the viral video with cargo shorts on. In addition, he lived 10 miles from the neighborhood wherein he died. Later, the truth about his presence in the neighborhood was actually revealed. Minutes before he was killed, Arbery was seen in a house that was under construction. Subsequently, in the days after the viral video was released to the public, surveillance video of inside that same house had been released which captured Arbery several times in the house prior to the fateful day. He's trespassing, which is at least a misdemeanor. The father, Gregory McMichael, a former police investigator, had at one time before investigated Arbery for criminal theft, so he knew the young man and what he was capable of. Now, I could go on about the details of the case, but this video is not about the circumstances surrounding the murder. I wanted to speak on the actions of the father and the son and the reaction of the media in our gynocentric society. Prior to the rise of feminism, a man was in charge of the protection of his house, his family, and his community. Sure, there were local sheriffs, but law enforcement was not militarized like it is today. It was a posse or a community of volunteer men who had responsibility of protecting what was theirs. This is not possible anymore. In a state that is more concerned with safety rather than independence, more rules are required to legislate a person's every move for their protection. Only in a feminine society can this occur. Just as mothers do with their children, the state must impose restrictions on anything deemed risky as to prevent any injury. We have women who vote to thank for this. Thus, in a state with hundreds of smaller rules, rather than ones with a few bigger ones, a prodigious and authoritative police force is required. This is why you see now the police acting more and more like an occupying military force rather than a protection for a community. And thanks to indoctrination in public schools, the public at large condemns these sort of masculine acts like the one the McMichaels performed. We must hear the self-righteous Karens, the incorrigible baby boomers, and the millennial soy boys come out and lambast the McMichaels. Our society despises when men think and act for themselves, when they step out of line from the status quo to act in their own self-interest. And being MGTOW or red-pilled like you and me, we already know this. Boys in schools are treated as defective girls. Motivated teen boys who think outside the box are rebuked and told to get back in line. And then while men in their adulthood toil endlessly in menial occupations, keeping the economy afloat, their earnings are taxed at criminal rates to fund this dysfunctional hellhole called society. These men are stripped of their dignity, mocked by the media, raped by the court systems, and shown enmity by spoiled and entitled women. The McMichaels did nothing wrong. They set out to stop a career criminal from causing any further harm to others. We already know from the viral video that Arbery was capable of violence. These two men, Travis and Gregory, did not commit an immoral act. They were not irresponsible with how they handled their firearms. It is time for men, especially white men, to protect their communities and their countries, to begin to say no to these progressive fucks who morally grandstand for Twitter points, or worse, those of them who attack masculinity.